Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Grand Wizard Bukake, your host. Our heroes saved the druid they were looking for and escaped the besieged castle, but tragically Farthole Farch was killed in the process. Alan was enraged by the goblin's death, and Quinny lost faith in his ability to lead the team until they were saved by Reginald Tingler on a donkey. What the fuck is going on? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
Bucky, you've spent ages worried about things. You were worried back when you were a child with your clan. You were worried about the dark fate that your father had planned for you, that your clan demanded of you, and of the powers that were growing increasingly potent that you didn't quite control. You were worried that Mr. Butthole, your hero, would reject you. Instead, he insisted on calling you murder child, which was weird, but you kind of make do. You were worried that you would run out of space for the drawings of your friends under the battle wagon, because honestly, paper usually only comes in a couple sizes, and really it was starting to take up a lot of room. Later, you were worried that you weren't helping, that your friends and your heroes, even though they'd reunited and the Dum-Dums had kind of found themselves again, that perhaps you weren't enough, that the powers you had were helpful, but not helpful enough. And even though you managed to kind of help them out in a big way by rushing up those stairs and bursting into the chamber just in time to help bring down Archibald Tingler, you still weren't quite sure what your place was. And the only time that you haven't been worried lately was when you decided to save everyone by going with the One of Many Faces. Now, it's been a while. You've been traveling with him and his retinue for a time, and he did promise he'd let you go if you helped him, and that he'd let your friends live, and more importantly, that he'd help Quinny, who, even though he would never say it, desperately seems to need help most of the time. And that is why you are now standing sort of at the end of a hallway, looking down it at a large sort of demonic person with massive horns and a blade in one hand. And he looks down the hall at you and he just says, "Come on, man. We're friends. I'm friends with your buddy Butthole. Remember, please, that the Devlingtons stood with you." And as much as it pains you, Bucky, that doesn't mean anything. Because if you can't get Manny what he wants, none of this will matter. So, with the whirring sound of Yevgenovich's chain gun behind you and the rest of the forces of the One of Many Faces moving through the palace, killing all they can find, you summon up your courage and you begin to charge the throne room of Moonhammer. What do you say?
I don't think Bucky has said much during this siege except for, I'm sorry.
And with that, you unleash the full power of your chaos magic and blast Jim Devlington into ash. We pick up back in the woods.
Great.
You're standing with a man both familiar and unfamiliar to your eyes. And the more you look at him, the more those differences become apparent. And it's not just in the way he looks, it's in the way he stands and the way he talks. It hasn't been long since you escaped the castle, since our dearly departed Farthole was killed. I'll say you've essentially had a short rest, so you can spend some hit die, looking at you, Quinny, to kind of get yourself back in shape. And you've begun moving through the woods as best you can back toward the Dum-Dum's caravan, which you know is nearby. The sounds of the orc and undead battle rage on behind you. The siege is well underway, and I think for the first time you're kind of struck by the enormity of the war. Alan, you experienced a bit of this when you took your stand guard into combat, but usually it was surgical strikes. Bryn and the McSquiggly would take you to a specific location, drop you off. You would do what you were there to do and exfiltrate. This is straight up entrenched war, and it's a much different beast.
Yeah, no good.
No good. No.
In the words of Farthole.
Yeah. May he rest in peace. It's all right. I'm sure he'll have a spot in Moonhammer's hell. Oh, wait a minute. So you make your way through the woods. Quinny, you're slightly recovered. Having spent some hit die, whereabouts are you in terms of how injured you think you are?
I'm at about half health. I was gonna use more narrative words, but I'm at half
that's
health.
Fine. Cool. So that's
all my
about,
hit dice, and I got half.
That's about where I'd expect you to be. So you're limping, and you're pretty rough. But somehow worse than the physical pain is trying to wrap your head around what the fuck is going on with Reginald, who is leading the way in a manner I can only describe as cautious confusion. So it's very bold steps, but they don't seem to be going anywhere in particular or have any real direction. Queenie, you get the sense that you're actually leading this expedition, even though Reginald is definitely out in front. Alan, for you, this is also particularly horrible because your last memory of Reginald was accepting Xanthus's help to overpower yourself and obliterate him and Butthole along with him back at the Thiefies. So seeing the person that you essentially sold your soul to defeat is a bit of a pill.
Yeah.
And Reginald, these woods are familiar, but only in the way that all woods are kind of familiar. The good news is there's a battle nearby, but you are not in it, and that is very good. Meanwhile, Goblin Jr. and Donkey Jr. are shooting each other like kind of vaguely apprehensive looks as they trot along with you. So I imagine you guys probably have some questions for Reginald.
I 100% defer to Quinny. I mean, this is the guy who killed him. So it's like, hey, Quinny, you go first.
Yeah.
Well, what questions has King Quimby?
Yeah. Well, we won't be using that name anymore.
I might.
Because those who speak it get crushed to death by bone giants. He looks exactly like Reginald, or does he look like Butthole and his name is Reginald?
It's kind of a mix of the two. So Reginald and Butthole always looked very, very similar. And in fact, when Butthole was the Forsaken, he looked very much like Reginald.
Okay.
The main difference here is the Reginald you met was he looked a bit rougher than this Reginald, if that makes sense. So and kind of once you discovered his drug habit, like it kind of made sense. He was living pretty hard. Whereas this Reginald, part of the reason he looks a bit more like Butthole is there is a bit more of the roundness of the face and a bit more kind of he's fit, but he's clearly lived a bit more of a slightly softer life. Ryan, do you want to describe what you're wearing and kind of what this Reginald looks like?
Yeah, so Reginald is he's the midpoint between Forsaken and a Butthole, probably leaning a little more Forsaken. Think like Chris Pratt, but not Guardians of the Galaxy. Chris Pratt like Moneyball, where he's like fit, but he's still a little bit soft kind of thing. Okay. He's wearing plate mail. Obviously, it doesn't have any symbols of Moonhammer on it, but it's the same sort of like full military regalia. Some of the coloring all matches like the Priest of War stuff that you've seen, a la when you saw Archibald and the other kind of priests. Not like full-scale Zarkan Warbringer disguise. Like there's no face makeup involved, but just like red cape. He's carrying that flaming warhammer that he took from Farthole. He's carrying that around. And he's doing a lot of like imperious, like you feel like he's doing almost poses of what he thinks a leader would look like. And he's not entirely wrong. He's just, his problem is he doesn't really know where to tell you to go. So he's trying to figure that out while posing and gesturing very emphatically as though there was a speed portrait being done. You get the feeling that like his bit might work if there were 100 of you, and it really doesn't work great with the fact that there are like 2 of you and 2 animals.
Right.
He's same shaved head as like butthole, same beard kind of setup.
And it's red.
Yeah, very red.
Yeah.
And he's not like fully like fit, but he's like boxer out of shape boxer, like boxer 5 years past the prime when they've been like living some life.
Sure. I think from Quinny's perspective, this almost feels like a test, because something Quinny would really want is for the responsibility of leading a kingdom kind of taken off his hands. But at the same time, he has like a responsibility that someone's like dying wish, or at least like their will basically expressed, someone he cares about deeply. So he has to make sure that it's right to do it. And I think he's extremely skeptical of this kind of perfect excuse to hand off leadership waltzing into the group. So he'd be asking Reginald about like where he comes from. I will ask that right now. Reginald, where do you come from?
Well, originally I'm from the lands of Akar, a deadly war-based place that trained me to become the fighter that I am today. And that's why we're journeying through these woods together, my friend, because I'm a hero. There was a battle, and it may have been going not that well for my forces, but I needed to save the wounded. So I headed into the woods to find some wounded and then save them. Congratulations. You're both wounded. Look at you. You look like you're about half of your full capability right now.
You are right about that. I think it's weird that you chose to. I'm thankful that you came to save us. We were
yes, that's the feeling I was going for.
There. But I'm confused. We're not with either of those 2 factions that are fighting back there. Why did you save us?
Wait, you're not with the Black Spider's Horde?
No.
And you're not, are you with the Alliance?
The Alliance?
Yes, the Alliance against the Black Spider's Horde. There are only 2 sides.
Well, we're definitely not for the Black Spider's Horde.
We literally killed the Black Spider.
Yeah.
Or a guy named the Black Spider.
What? Okay. That doesn't make much sense. You didn't kill the Black Spider. I'll guarantee you that. You try to get through that Spellforge stuff? I don't think so. There's a whole army there that all got magical weapons.
We were there first when there wasn't an army, and we literally killed a wizard who called himself the Black Spider.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
And sorry, just to jump in here, you are actually with the caravan. You just gone scouting. You're coming back. So Juniper is
Juniper's
with you.
here too. Yeah.
Yeah. Just so that she can join in as well if she so desires. Yep.
Yeah, it's good to see everyone
Juniper
else. Hello.
Yeah.
I'm here bringing prisoners. They're not with the Horde, but they are now. I'm going to have to just call this whole thing together. Everybody take a knee where you are, and I'll get to you in a minute. Sorry, you were saying?
We're just saying that we don't understand the Horde of the Black Spider. We don't understand the Alliance. We've kind of been out of the political loop for a little while. We've been underwater for a while.
I'm pretty sure we killed the Black Spider, like 2 years ago?
All right.
That sound about right?
Clearly, you both are wounded, and you received head injuries, and that's why they left you in the woods. So let me walk you through how history's gone down. So, back in the day, the Black Spider found the Spellforge and took it over. There was nobody to stop the Black Spider. That'd be crazy. So dangerous. So then the Black Spider created a horde and teamed up with the Orcs of Cragmaw Castle. And then remember when they attacked everyone? And then they took over Neverwinter and then most of Faerun?
The Orcs of Cragmaw Castle led by...
the Black Spider, after he was done with Pim Pim.
Okay.
Okay, that's
And that's why there's the Horde, which is everybody who was with the Black Spider. But then he sort of, I'm not criticizing the leadership. I want to be very clear. Team Horde, go Horde. And then he like jumps and does a fist in the air, like clears the ground and lands again. He's like, so we sort of pissed off a lot of people after all the invasions. So now everyone else ever has teamed up and is fighting the Horde. And that's why we're in this wonderful, wonderful state of perpetual war.
Right. And I guess the nation of Aka is in on some of that?
The nation of Aka is proud to have yielded our authority to the overwhelming war master, the Black Spider. So that's why we join the Horde in a preeminent position. Preeminent. Maintain my rank, still a general.
Yeah.
And now we're proud to be part of the Horde that will always win. Go Horde! And he jumps and throws his fist in the air again.
And the royal family probably made that decision?
What do you mean royal family? We're a theocracy. It's just priests.
Just priests, right. No Archbishop Tingler or anything like that?
Of course there's an Archbishop Tingler. I love Daddy.
Right.
I mean, he's a dick, but I love him.
Your dad, great.
Yep.
And your brother Bobbert, is he in the picture?
Made up idea and a stupid name. I like you. You're going to be my jester.
and your dad is alive?
Oh, of course he is. Somebody's got to be running a car and going around and kicking ass where I'm not.
Okay. As Juniper, I'm just like kind of pulling out my scroll, being like, "Hey, Black Spider, old guy Tingler, anything?"
Oh, are you making notes?
Nothing from either of those. You just still have that image that appeared of Reginald.
Okay.
Let me see what you're writing over there. And I just grab the scroll and I look at it and I'm like, you are brain damaged. I give it back and I'm like, scroll's blank. Not even writing.
Juniper is miffed but doesn't say anything. She's still sussing out the situation.
Donkey Jr. is like, he snarf, and then like bumps into Reginald.
And I guess just to kind of fill in more blanks, because I got to tell you, those of us in the caravan, we've got kind of a different narrative going. Who's your mom? What's up with your mom?
I don't know. Women don't matter in a car. It's really weird where I'm from, but they're around and they do other roles, but they're not part of the priesthood. It's one of those like very specific theocracies that's honestly sort of depressing once you get out of it. I'm not a fan of a lot of organized religion.
Sure.
Juniper says, and is that your opinion as well?
Well, no, I just said I think it's kind of stupid. I mean, I can't really argue with Daddy, though, so stuff kind of happens. You know,
all right, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, there's just like people at the top of the hill kind of just crapping and it rolls down the hill onto you. Well, like I'm sort of halfway up the hill, which means I don't get to really run the show yet. And then at the bottom is you. So luckily I get to absorb some of the crap from above, but then give more below. That's the joy of generalship.
Yeah, look, we appreciate that you saved us and all, but we've kind of got a different quest situation going on right now. I got to talk to this druid about constructing a body.
Well, I mean, getting more fighters to help the Horde is good, and I'm not really sure where the other armies are. We'll have to find...
So wait, we're helping the Horde?
Well, yes, absolutely. I'm a general of the Black Spider's Horde. All of you are now either conscripts or prisoners. You can choose.
So who's in the Alliance? I'm sorry, I thought Aka was in the Alliance.
Alan was just like, no. Was a slave for 9 months, not happening again.
Well, then, congratulations. Welcome to the Black Spider's Horde. All right, so you're a soldier. Anybody else? Soldier or prisoner? You can make your choices.
Nope, not a soldier either. Not anything.
Well, you are wearing robes.
Doing my own thing.
Battle wizard?
Sure.
Where is Annan? She must have a copy of the Forsaken's biography.
So Annan kind of comes up and she's like, yes, your highness. How can... What the... Oh, yeah, I still can't get used to this. This is very troubling.
Trust me, it's worse when he talks. Do you have a copy of Butthole's book?
If I'm not mistaken, I'm the Forsaken?
Yes.
I'm afraid I don't. When I left the biz, as it were, to go serve the Plantiers for a bit, I divested myself of all my Forsaken merch.
Your merch was Forsaken?
Truly, yes. Yep.
Okay. All right. We'll pick it up at some kind of tourist shop or something like that if we swing by one.
How can it not be in the bag of holding?
Just hang on a second. Actually,
That's a good question.
I think, and she goes back to the caravan. She rummages. She pulls out a clipboard that is clearly delineated every single fucking thing that's in the caravan. And she moves aside a couple of boxes, and then she pulls out a little chest. And it's very plain, and it just has a small note painted on it that says, Bucky's things, please don't touch. And then in brackets, unless you really need something, in which case help yourself. So she opens the chest and rummages around, and then she pulls out a copy of the book. And the spine is broken, and it's clearly been incredibly well read. And she brings it over, and she's like, here's Bucky's signed copy. And inside the cover it says, to Cash, stay angry, the Forsaken.
Quinny will take it, and like it feels like it weighs a ton. Like it's because it's Bucky's book. Like it's just like, oh my God. And I will hand it to, oh man, just the new name is going to throw me for so long. Reginald.
Unlike Fart Hole, which was just like a nice, comfortable bath to have. Like,
I mean, yeah.
That felt right. Reginald is much more difficult.
Yep.
I hand it to Reginald and I say, you should read that. It's sort of a retelling of the life and times of one Butthole Farch, a.k.a. Bobbert Tingler, a.k.a. your brother. It's highly kind of, what's the word, I guess, editorialized. Like it's very, very skewed from his perspective. He was in like a dark time. But
it hasn't been
you'll see that
fact-checked.
there's like, no. But there's real world events in that story that we like took part in.
Alrighty, I'm you know what? I'm just going to skip to the end. Let's see what's going on here. And he flips to the end, and it's just like, there are no gods. I hate myself. I have no family. I am alone. I will purge the blood from all gods, and then the living.
When was the last time it got updated?
He was the Forsaken when it was when he was written.
Fuck. Shit.
Okay, so this guy sounds like he belongs in the Horde. Let me tell you that.
So we can agree that he's real? Because that's something at least.
Well, I mean, I don't have a brother. Okay, admittedly, this book is confusing, and you all just had a conversation for like 5 minutes that I did not understand a single word that happened. You're not with the Horde. You didn't know about the Alliance.
I think Juniper
here brain
steps
damaged?
in. Juniper steps in at this point. She's like, sorry, has no one explained to him about like multiple worlds, multiple copies of people?
Wait, what?
I mean, I was just trying to start with like butthole exists kind of base stuff, but sure, man,
Okay.
there's other versions of us living in other versions of the world. How's that sound?
Wait, so
Does that sound like I've got a head injury?
like shapeshifters are transforming into us in other parts of the world? I warned everyone that could happen.
Nope. It's literally like I guess you could call them like parallel worlds or like worlds happening at the same time, but like you got the same people in them,
There's
but
a
they're like
version of you.
different.
Oh, yeah,
different
yeah,
version of
like,
you
like
that-
And all of
dimensions.
those
Yeah.
Sometimes the
kind-
battle mages use a spell called Dimension Door, so I'm aware of the fact that there are
but
doors
it's
between
like
dimensions.
different than dimensions. It's like multiple copies all happening at the same time.
Okay,
Is
sort
this
of like
Juniper
how
or
I would
Alan
build
explaining?
multiple trebuchets to break down a wall. I'd be like, same trebuchet, same trebuchet, same trebuchet.
Yeah, but
victory.
if each trebuchet was like on top of itself, but in a different world that was removed from your present reality. And they're all colliding together. Oh yeah, that's the thing that's happening. It's called the Great Collide, and all the realities are colliding together, which is why there's like this weird thing of like multiple copies of different people. And like we killed Black Spider, but this other Black Spider that's probably from like another dimension. I'm guessing the dimension that you're from. Where are we right now?
You are...
Are we in our home world?
Yes, you're in Dumb Room. At least to the best of your knowledge.
It's kind of like a question to everyone. It's just like, do we know where we are?
This is the first guy that I've spoken to who's telling me a different kind of story. I mean, I was expecting there to be a warring faction when we came to pick up the druid here. We knew that there was a war going on.
Well, I mean,
even though it was the Black Spider's horde.
I was running through the woods to find the wounded, like a hero, and then I was running not away from the battle, but just in an ancillary, unrelated direction. And then it was just a lot of trees, and then there was like this weird blue flash, and then just a couple of trees, and then you guys.
Okay. Tell me about the blue flash.
It was a blue flash while I was running through the woods, and then I ran into you guys. That's pretty much the whole story. Full report. Running, flash, here.
Did it light up the whole forest? Did you feel any sensations physically?
It was akin to almost as though a flashbulb went off, but immediately cleared. So if you think about it like that, you had after image, but the trees around you remained the same. The ground remained the same. Nothing else changed.
Yeah.
I
think your world reality collided with ours. Now you're here in our world. But like part of your world is here now.
Okay, so
that's my best guess anyways.
This is Juniper I'm talking to, right? I just want to be clear.
Definitely Juniper.
Okay, great. So what you're saying is I went from my world where there is a perpetual war, and I came here to a world where there is a perpetual war, from what I'm hearing?
Not perpetual. It only really kicked off in earnest about a year ago or so. And I'm quite confident there's going to be an end to it. We just need to kind of put our minds to it.
Wait, so right here, we could just avoid the war. We could just leave?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, well, shit. No, not anymore. I'm the king of Aka here now, so I
What?
Yeah.
Wait, are you my brother?
No. Do I look
Alan
like your
just
brother?
laughs. This fucking idiot.
A version of you actually exploded me with his sword.
Yeah, of course. I'm amazing.
He did die right after. Actually, she killed him, and I point to Alan.
Hi there.
Well, I told Daddy not teaming up with women was going to cost us the war, and now we're a fun part of the Horde, so go Horde! And he jumps and punches the air.
Yeah, you don't have to do that here. We're not with the Horde.
Okay, but there is a Horde, the Black Spider's Horde?
As far as I'm aware, the Black Spider is dead because we killed him.
But now apparently the Black Spider from your reality is now in our world. So technically, yes, there is.
Wait, what? How do you know he's here? Was he with me? He wasn't with me when I started. Have you met him?
I don't know. The Horde was there, wasn't it?
No, there was
shit.
an army of dumb Faerun Aka was engaging the orcs of the keep.
Yeah, I ran out and saw skeletons and orcs. It's not my guys.
Yeah, this is the army of the Unseen Hand. You'll also note that Reginald has never mentioned the Unseen Hand, and it seems not to exist there.
That's true. They're big players here.
You know, for someone who's like traveled between worlds, I really have a poor like idea of where I am and where things are happening.
Juniper must be so jealous because now there's two people who traveled between worlds, and she's only been hinted at having done that. But if she did, she didn't know it, and bummer. Quinny and Alan and Juniper, you're kind of getting to a point where you realize you might not really want or need Reginald around so much. It's super weird that he's here, given that he killed one of you and one of you killed him. He seems to be from another world, which is of interest, but also doesn't seem to have any additional insight. And I think you're starting to share glances as he continues to expound upon the nature of the Horde. He talks about, the commander of his regiment and, as he's panicking about the Black Spider maybe being here and wondering if his commander is here too. And I think there's almost an unspoken kind of quiet agreement between you that maybe this might not be the right deal. I will say you're having this conversation now a bit of a ways away from the caravan. There was some real discomfort amongst people about what's going on. And I think Annan kind of scooched them away because she assumed you guys would get it sorted out rather than just kind of forcing everyone to listen to all of this. Also, this is, even though this is a new character, this is pretty par for the course for like the Dum-Dums having a debate about what to do next. So you're a bit of a ways away now having this argument. And Reginald ends his kind of most recent tirade with a go Horde, leaping into the air, fist up as he's been doing. At which point you hear a voice from the woods just say, "See, I told you we'd find the coward." And then there is a burst of light as a sword bursts into flames. And you just hear someone yell, "Go Alliance!" And come tearing through the trees. Go ahead and roll initiative, please.
Oh, this session's going to be talky. Don't worry about it.
We have been talking for half an hour, Tyler.
Yeah, I updated everything on my sheet anyway.
Well, look at Mr. Fancy Pants.
14 initiative for Quinny.
Okay.
Alan is 16. Juniper is 10.
An 18 for Reginald.
It is weird hearing that name.
It's weirder saying it. I gotta tell
Very
you.
uncomfortable, to be honest.
What am I? Are we friends? Am I gonna call him fucking Reggie? Like it is.
Oh, Reggie.
It's weird.
Good old
Constable
Reggie
Reggie.
Tingler.
Reggie Ting Ting. Okay. So top of the round, Reginald, to your horror, you see a man charging through the trees, flanked by warriors, wearing sort of very worn silver armor, bearing the sign of Neverwinter emblazoned on his chest, and wearing Alliance kind of colors, but very much in like I wrapped a sash across my gear to kind of look like I fit in. And the last time you saw this guy, he was tearing your regiment apart, screaming about vengeance for Lord Neverember. And so part of the reason you left so fast was to get away from this raging paladin and his crew of kind of suicidal warriors. But it would seem they have found you even here. So with the disgraced paladin von Strauss charging through the woods toward you, what do you do?
Do either of his friends have ranged weapons, or are they all
They're all
melee?
sword and board.
Great. Then I would like to yell, "Go Horde!" and reach into my bag, and I want to crack a gem in my hands and snort it. And then when
Jesus.
I jump and raise my fist, I actually, because originally I may have appeared like a fighter, as though Tom gave me a character sheet that was a fighter and then changed our minds later. Now he jumps like a blood hunter, absorbing mutagen craft, which gives me a flight speed of 20. So I would like to jump 20 feet straight up and just say, "For the Black Spider," and shoot a heavy crossbow at Paladin von Strauss. While I'm
All
in the
right, go
sky.
for it. In the distance, you just hear Annan go, "Oh shit, this one flies."
That is
and this one flies.
10 to hit.
That will not hit. The bolt hits a tree, and the paladin just shoulders past it as he rushes forward.
The rest of you, attack!
All right, next up, Alan. A dark mirror of Paladin von Strauss is charging through the woods. This guy looks a little closer to when you met him as the Forsaken recently. It's a man who clearly has nothing left to lose. What do you do? He is flanked by 4 warriors.
As Alan, I was just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hang on. Von Strauss, we're buds. Right?
Go ahead and
You
roll
know me.
Persuasion, I guess.
I don't know.
Actually, I kind of want it to be deception because he doesn't, but I think you're trying to persuade him. So go ahead with that.
Yeah. Can you see? Can you
Oh
see?
yeah,
Can you
yum
see
yum
that
yum.
Nat one.
Sure
See
can.
the one. Oh man.
You hear him yell, "By the gods, he brought a witch! Kill the witch!" And he's going to rush
fuck.
you specifically. So because you rolled bad, he's up next. I'm going to give him advantage on his strikes. He unleashes martial fury upon you. So let's see how this goes.
Okay.
What's your AC right now, Alan?
12.
Well,
You think I would have invested some, like, spell learning into, like, shields and mage armor, but no, fuck that, apparently.
We all went
Past
up a
Laura's
level
an
and you
idiot.
didn't learn any defensive spells.
I mean,
I
and
love Alan.
it's a bummer
Yeah.
that you forgot to cast the thing that's tattooed on your hand today.
I can't.
Oh, shit. Okay. That's a bummer.
yeah.
Okay, he hits with 2 of the 3. I rolled very badly, but your armor is very low. That is going to be... Yikes. So that is 23 points of damage as he
I'm fine.
batters you about with the sword. Because of his tremendous rage, he is swinging the blade repeatedly, but it leaves him open to attack. So he is, much like a barbarian raging, left himself open with advantage to the next strike against him.
Okay, wonderful.
That brings us to Quinny.
Oh boy. Let's talk numbers. How many warriors are with him?
4.
Oh, okay.
You get the sense it's like kind of what's left of a regiment that managed to chase Reginald through the gap. Not like it's not the entire army. It's just four guys.
Okay. I'm gonna cast my one new warlock spell. Let's mark down one of my 2 spell slots. I'm gonna cast Mirror Image. 3 duplicates spring out from where I'm standing. And they mirror my movements exactly. And basically, there's a lot of kind of game mechanic stuff about how it is significantly harder to hit me.
Okay.
And so we move in unison as a group of 4. They can basically, because they're illusory, they can like move through like things and stuff like that unimpeded. They just copy and go where I go. And I'm going to run up to Von Strauss. Casting the spell is my action, so I'm not going to attack him. What I'd like to do is run up to him. If he's wailing on Alan, actually, I want to run up between him and Alan, just because I'm small, and just throw my hands up and say, "We're not with the Horde. You're in another world, and in this world, Neverember's son lives."
Okay. All right. Go ahead and roll me a persuasion check, please.
Persuasion. 18.
Von Strauss looks down at you with kind of disgust and a degree of almost pity. And he says, "Ah, poor halfling, your mind has been clouded by the foul Horde. Lord Neverember has no son. He has only a daughter." And then he swings his
Doesn't
blade.
have like a secret son or nothing? No? Jeez. The sword comes down on Quinny.
The sword flashes through one of your illusory buds, but you're good. Bringing us to Juniper.
And I think Juniper just kind of runs into the fray, like with her sword held aloft, just being like, everyone calm down, stop fighting. And she's going to hit Von Strauss twice. Just
Cool.
like, and it's not like, she's not trying to kill. She's just being like, shut the fuck up. Like, you're outnumbered. Even though you got whatever guys with you, trust me, you're outnumbered.
You're outnumbered if you know how dangerous we are.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
don't, but I know you're outnumbered.
Both Goblin Jr. and Donkey Jr. snarf and snarf haw at the same time as like a yeah. And then they look to
Yeah.
each other and there's like begrudging respect.
It's just, don't you idiots get it? We're pulling our punches to save you.
Oh,
Stop.
God. I rolled horribly. That was 10. Oh, no. Sorry. That's way more. Fuck. That's 6. Oh, I didn't roll that bad. 16 to attack on the first one.
Taking the long way around to a number.
Sorry.
Quite a journey.
I forgot how many bonuses I get.
Yeah, we haven't had these characters in play
No,
for a while.
it's been a while. It was literally like last time we recorded was like pre-lockdown.
Yeah.
And Juniper wasn't in it. So yeah, it's fair. It's been a while.
So sorry. 16 to hit on the first one, 12 to hit on the second one.
Neither will hit.
Oh, trust me, you're outnumbered as I like try to back away.
That brings us to the minions. So the warriors rush in, and one of them yells, "I'm seeing double! 8 halflings!" And they're going to. Oh man, I don't think we've ever had such a melee heavy combat where literally all the characters are in melee except for the flying man. So we're going to say 2 on Junie and 2 on the Quinnies. Quinny, what's the disadvantage for me on trying to swing at the multi-Quinnies?
So I need to roll a d20. Right now I have 3 clones up. It's a very like Naruto spell. I got 3 shadow clones. So I need to roll a d20. Okay, I rolled a 2, so it doesn't hit any of them. This attack actually lands on me.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the armor class is 16.
16, okay. One of them's 16 straight up on the die, the other one misses. Okay, so Quinny, that will be 10 points of damage as one of them swings her blade through one of the shadow Quinnies, and you can tell she was going for a killing blow on that one, but instead she misses and hits you. The other one just straight up, you duck under his blade. It's pretty gnarly in there. There's a lot of multiple combats going on, so a little bit hard. And then the one swing at Juniper. Juniper, what's your AC right now?
18.
All right, so rolled a crit on one, and the other will not hit. So Juniper, you, my friend, will take... Yeah, that's not too bad, actually.
Not 13... too bad for you or for me?
For you, 13 points. I rolled low. Nice. I rolled a 3 and a 5. So 13 points of damage.
For those of you keeping score at home, I'm just going to throw out there, I used Uncanny Dodge on the one that attacked me, so I had 5 damage instead of 10.
Cool. So everyone erase your chalkboards and reset them to a more accurate number. But yes, thank you. That's good to know. Should come as no surprise, and yet surprised I am. Top of the round, Reginald. Keep in mind, because Donkey Jr. is with you, you do have your recharging Donkey Jr. ability to give you advantage on an attack as Donkey Jr. distracts them with his donkey's purpose.
Excellent.
Oh, good Lord.
The first thing Reginald will do is see his newfound wounded companions getting sort of stomped, and then be tempted to fly away, but then remember, like, oh no, that's a king. I hate doing this. Go Horde. And then he'll cut his hand, and blood will come out, and some of it'll drop on Von Strauss, and he's sort of like icked out by himself doing it. And then he would like to cast a blood curse on Paladin Von Strauss. Then he casts the blood curse of bloated agony. So, and he's also amplified it, which means he takes, he loses, because every time you amplify with blood, you have to roll a die and then take away from your own health to make your magic stronger. So he takes 6 points of damage for casting this. And now Paladin Von Strauss bloats painfully. He swells. So for the duration of this curse, which because it's charged is a minute, so he has disadvantage on strength and dex checks. And he suffers 1d8 necrotic damage if it makes more than 1 melee or ranged attack per turn. He can make a con save at the end of each of his turns to try to reject the curse. And then realizing flying is not actually going to help them terribly much, I would like to swoop down with the flaming goblin hammer in both hands and just try to crush one of the guys at the back.
Fair enough. So as the blood hits Von Strauss, you see him begin to kind of shudder, and you hear kind of a horrible metallic wrenching noise as the form-fitting armor begins to bend and twist as he just goes like full Baron Harkonnen under it. His body swells up, and you can hear him like grunt through the pain, but he's clearly like this is like Geralt Witcher armor that's like unnervingly close to the body. So with the bloat, he's feeling it. Great, go ahead.
Sexily close to the body, am I right?
Yeah, he paints Warhammer models. All right, Ryan, go ahead and roll your flying strike. What do you think Reginald refers to this hammer as? I feel like you don't have to have this answer for me yet, but I think you would probably rechristen it something.
Yeah. So I think on the way down, he just yelled, Go Daddy! And he'll just name the hammer Daddy. He'll probably make up something epic for someone else later, but to him, Daddy. He's the greatest threat and the only thing protecting him.
Yep,
Take me out of
tracks.
Bring me into it, take me out of this world.
Do we have a deal with GoDaddy that I'm not aware of? Are we hosted by them or some shit?
I mean, yes, but
And then I pull up my Shield MeUndies and I turn on my one.
For the loot box.
Good thing I have this one free audiobook I can listen to if I sign up for a trial today at audible.com/dumdumdice.
So
I'm loving my scale from stamps.com. That's all I want to say.
Because I'm flying down and attacking someone who's engaged in combat, Tom, do I get advantage?
I will give you advantage on this.
Sick. That was not the best roll. I rolled a 4 and a 5, which means I have a 13 to hit.
No.
That's a good modifier.
No, sadly. You were close because the warriors aren't as heavily armored, but not that badly armored.
Cool.
So screaming for Daddy's assistance, you slam down. The warrior just sidesteps and you just plow into the ground. It's like a an Iron Man punch to the ground, but like if it was bad. Cool. That brings us to Alan. Von Strauss is bloating in front of you with murderous intent in his eyes.
And that's it. Is there anyone else in front of me? I think like
the other
everyone
warriors
else is kind of cleared away on our side, right?
You and Von Strauss are like side by side, or like he's directly in front of you. And then Quinny ran in between the two of you. So two warriors have flanked it. It's basically you're all just a little ball of combat
Just
right now.
Melee, yeah.
It's like a rugby scrum, but of death.
I just yell like, Quinny, get out of the way. As I basically try to like reach out and try to grab at Von Strauss's arm to attempt to cast Vampiric Touch.
Okay. I think you can safely reach over Quinny. We've established that Alan's like tall-ish, so yeah. So you can just reach over.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's a specific ability of mine that can be in other people's spaces.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, halfling nimbleness.
That's 21 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Awesome. Oh, finally. Decent. That's 12 necrotic damage, and I am holding on for dear Von Strauss's life.
Okay,
that makes sense.
Yep. So your eyes go black as they are like to do when you use your vampiric touch, and you manage to find like there's a hole in his armor on his arm where you can see flesh. So you kind of grab hold of the metal of his arm, and then you just sink a thumb into this like hole in the chainmail, and you begin to drain his essence, and you suddenly feel very ill as your body begins to bloat, and Alan, you begin to expand at a rapid pace as the blood curse makes its way into you.
Oh shit.
All right, that brings us to Von Strauss. So Von Strauss is heaving, like he's more injured than you would think, and you get the sense that he didn't come into combat fresh. And he just says, "Foul witch, the Horde must die to save Faerun." And he's going to attempt to just fucking impale you on his blade. I'm going to give him disadvantage because of like the shadow Quinny's dancing in front of him.
Cool.
But it will not matter. One of them will hit.
Yeah.
How many attacks did he make, Tom?
He made 2.
1d8 necrotic damage.
On each one?
If you make more than one.
You can go ahead and roll that, sir, because that is your damage.
It's 5 damage.
All right. So, Alan, you're going to take 12 points of damage as he sort of stabs forward at you. You flinch out of the way and just feel like the blade cut across your arm as you continue to bloat. But as he does so, you hear him just kind of wheeze. And you see blood begin to show at the edges of the armor as he continues to expand. And you see his legs begin to tremble. You hear one of them yell, "Be strong, my lord! I'm a Monty Python character here to support you." But Von Strauss is clearly flagging.
Oh, Von Strauss gets to make a DC 15 con save at the end of his turn to try to throw off the curse. Alan, it'll be the same thing for you at the end of your turns.
He does not make
nice.
it.
Great, then it just keeps going.
Surely it does. Quinny, Von Strauss is clearly on his last legs. The troops around him are looking kind of nervous, as though if he goes down, they're probably done.
Yeah, okay. Since I'm still standing between him and Alan, kind of awkwardly dancing between their legs, I'm going to run through his legs and spring into the air up behind him, and with my blackjack, try to hit him across the back of the head for non-lethal damage.
Okay.
Oops. Dropped my dice. Dropping the dice would have been the better roll, but I rolled lower. So let's add... Okay, so that's 14 to hit.
Unfortunately, will not hit.
I just say, you have to surrender. He's going to kill you. Please, we can talk.
That brings us to Juniper.
I did not want to have to do this, but my companions are getting hurt, so 2 hits just to his neck with my blade of balls.
Go ahead.
Oh, no.
I hate this. Well, I don't think it matters because it's 15 and 13, which didn't hit. I'm useless today.
All right, so Juniper swings for his head. You hit him, but the unnatural bloat catches the blade. You can see that it cuts into him, but he almost doesn't feel it. Bringing us to the Warriors. So they see Von Strauss suffering. Just is like Juniper is literally just sitting there, like trying to headsman chop him, but just isn't going through.
Yeah.
And one of them says, the Monty Python character says, "My lord, shall we execute Neverwinter Protocol?" And he just says, "Do it." And each of them reaches into their armor and pull out just a small gem on a chain. And collectively they yell, "Neverwinter will never fall!" And they crush the gems, and a blast of ice emits from all of them. Jagged, pointed, like blast of ice.
No, don't do Neverwinter Protocol, guys. Don't do that.
I need, I think we'll say Dex or Con based on the kind of character you are. Checks, please.
Yeah, all right. Ooh, not rolling super great. So I'll use evasion to make my failure a success. Full.
Okay.
22 for Reginald.
Okay.
Nat 20 for Alan, nat 1 for Juniper.
Okay. Cool. So as the ice sort of blasts inward towards you, you see the warriors ripped apart by the explosions, and it's almost like if you've seen any of those videos of people throwing boiling water in the air when it's cold. Often it falls down on them in real life, which is very tragic. But think like that kind of effect, but if it was like a water balloon, like a massive water balloon. So it's literally just a huge blast of spikes. If you succeed, you take 13 points of damage. If you fail, you take 26. Now, Alan, you rolled a nat 20.
Yep. On a con save.
Yeah, and Juniper rolled a 1.
Yeah.
So I think what we'll say is Juniper pulls Alan down and just like fully does the Mr. President thing. And in doing so, breaks the bond. Also, your nat 20 shakes off the vampiric touch. So a combination of like Juniper sacrificing herself for the team and Alan doing well to break free. That said, nat 1 must have consequence. So Juniper took another 11 points of damage.
Ouchie.
And
that's Laura saying that. Juniper.
I understand.
She became Echo when injured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Echo would say that either.
And
rhyme creepily with something.
With that, a silence falls over the clearing as all of you kind of struggle to your feet. The last hope of Neverwinter dead around you. Reginald, this is something you've seen before for sure. It's become increasingly common for soldiers to carry one-hit charms like this because total war. So not uncommon for you, but your compatriots certainly seem surprised. You're still in the dirt from your Superman fall, and some of your gear has been knocked loose. So you reach down and sort of recollect your war trophy, the small bird skull that you wear kind of around your neck, but also your sending stone has fallen out. And as you pick it up, the touch of your hand activates it. And to your surprise, you hear two things that kind of throw you off. One, normally you would just hear from either it would be one of your rivals calling to taunt you over the line, although that would have to be if they stole one because it's technically just an Aka line. But usually it's just how Daddy gets in touch. But you don't hear Daddy's voice. Instead, you hear a woman's voice, an unfamiliar woman's voice, that just says, "Faithful of Aka, I have risen. Stand with me, and we will take what is ours. For with me is the new god of war, and together Antebellum, the unseen hand, and Lord Typhus will make this world bleed. So rise with me, and if you fall, you shall return as I have." And this is some scary shit for you, because you don't want to meet a god of war. That's some spooky shit. So in a panic, you crush the sending stone in your hand to dust.
Cool. That was, I mean, bold, bad, good. The important thing is we're all still alive. Now, have any of you killed a god? I remember from that book, it sounded like a thing that you'd figured out how to do.
No, I mean, not us specifically.
No, I don't think so. Sorry, I'm trying to remember.
Butthole did.
Okay, so it's
killed a bunch.
It's doable from your weirdest, most violent, philosophically nihilistic friend. But it's probably easier to hide. Okay, where do we go if we want to hide?
That's a good question.
So you're in...
Alan just like points in the opposite direction that we want to be going. He's like, over there.
Okay. All right, then it's time for a strategic withdrawal from this area, and we can claim the high ground. It'll get high eventually.
So with that, all of you kind of make your way back to the caravan, and you're in strange setting. Obviously, this isn't somewhere you're used to. And as you arrive back at the caravan, Kron is there, and he's got a big manic grin on his face, and he's kind of standing with. He seems to have been working on something with the help of Trax, and you actually see Mo Dirt is there helping as well, and they're standing over this thing, and Kron's like, "Well, it's not my best work, but it's work." And he pulls back the sheet to reveal if Frankenquinny was a horrible god monster. This is kind of like if you were at a butcher shop and you could only find the parts of animals that were left over. It is a truly horrific construction, and it's clearly shoddy. Like this is clearly like fast work. But you can see that Mo has taken the time to kind of dress it in one of his lounge robes, and he's just like, "Well, I just thought that if Butthole wakes up, he's gonna want something nice to wear. It's not my best one, but it'll do in a pinch."
No, yeah, this is this is thoughtful. Jesus Christ, look at that thing.
I think Reginald
there's no head. It's just like a torso with like a face stitched to it, and like it's a real. Oh my God. It's really not great.
Reginald will tap Alan on the shoulder as Alan, as a battle wizard, is ranking second only to a general.
And Alan is like surprised because she really wanted Reginald to go the other way.
To say, excuse me, battle wizard. No. Nobody's fooling me with that. You go over there while I flee the battlefield thing. I know the tricks. So they know the Black Spider banned flesh statues, right? Like that was a thing people got into really early and then it got kind of dark. So do you want to tell them, should I wear the military police? What?
Why would we care?
Well, because people start making them a lot, and then they're like, I don't have enough bodies for these flesh statues. Then they start praying to them, which is weird.
We're not making flesh statues. We're making a body to, like, put another person into.
See, that's what they thought was happening with the flesh statues. Then they brought them to life. And sure, they took the castle, but then they ate our army. It was a terrible trade.
Not building a statue.
Reginald, I'm going to show you something, okay? Attention, everyone. Sorry, some bad news here, but the Black Spider says no flesh statues allowed. So if you could all just react to that honestly right now for our new friend Reginald here, that I would really appreciate that.
Goblin Jr.'s like, snarf.
And I like give him my medallion of thought and like send him over to Reginald, be like, you tell him, man.
Hey, not butthole.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, hi, Goblin Jr. We haven't been formally introduced. Listen, Black Spider, dead. We killed him. He's real dead.
Oh, yeah.
So his rules don't really apply here. And you can see, like, Donkey Jr. is, like, very protectively standing near you, but he's also a miniature donkey, so he's not really big enough to be imposing. And he's like, so I guess what I'm saying is you can take those rules and shove them. Snarf, snarf, motherfucker. And then he just goes back over to Queenie.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Wolf's kind of an asshole.
Also couldn't have said it better myself.
Donkey Jr.'s like, hey, snarf.
Yeah, you're doing
that
great.
I could do without.
I'll pat the donkey on the head.
He likes it a lot. He feels real good. That really made his day.
Perfect. So does your caravan need a general? I saved your life back during that battle.
And, we appreciate that. And it sounds like you're a man out of his own world. So I guess that's kind of the trade-off that I was thinking of, is we would look out for you in that way.
Reginald, the sort of broken stone is still, you've been getting like, just almost like, if you think about like a staticky radio, you've been getting just like subtle burst transmissions, and you've been trying to ignore them because they're spooky. But through the sort of leather of the pouch, you drop the stone. Because I feel like you're the kind of guy who like keeps everything, even if it's broken, just in case you can like barter with it later or
or I can throw it at someone. Yeah, it's functional.
Great. So you're just hearing glimpses, and as Quinny kind of makes this offer, you hear the woman speaking to someone, and she simply says, so mine will live in the vault with yours. And the voice says, yes, Emily, they'll both live in the vault. After all, you're apparently the only one left who can open it. So yes, that's where the phylacteries will live, and we will continue to live forever. Do you have any other? Can you get me a fucking coffee already? And that sparks something in your memory. It would seem that your Ka tech works the same way here as it did in your world, which means that Daddy's vault would likely open for you, as it is keyed only to the blood of the Tinglers. So whatever important shit they have, you might be able to get access to.
All right, you may not need a general. You may think you can keep me safe, but let me say this. If there's not a war, how do you feel about a heist?
Oh, Quinny's looks down, and his face darkens, obscured by shadow, and just two glints where his eyes are. And he rises with a grin and says, I'm listening.
Also, Alan, we haven't really touched base with you about this. This is the first you've heard that Grayson Typhus is, in fact, not in 2099. It would seem he's here.
Oh, I didn't know we'd heard that conversation.
Yes, all of you heard it.
Oh,
We
shit.
heard all of it?
Everyone heard it.
man.
It was literally,
Oh,
it's
shit.
like, sorry, I should have clarified. It's his walkie-talkie. So it was
Oh,
like,
I thought it was like holding it is how we heard
No,
it. I'm
no,
sorry.
sorry.
Oh,
Fully
fuck. Well, okay,
broadcast.
that's
Yeah.
a bit of a game changer too.
Well, this is a development. Naturally, we have to kill him.
Kill, kill who? I said heist. I didn't say murder.
Sorry, Grace and Typhus. We need to kill him.
Who the fuck is
I could kill
Grayson
him again.
Typhus?
This does sync up with that God of War you just heard about there, Reginald.
Wait, is Grayson? Okay, here's the deal. I don't want to kill the God of War. I just want to steal.
Oh, he's not a fucking god. He's just a person who's got some more power. He's a fucking asshole.
Listen, those are the kind of things I said about the Black Spider before he came to Akka, and now I say, go Horde. So sometimes when people say they're gods, it's because they're pretty close.
Well, guess what, buddy? You're rolling with the crew who killed the Black Spider.
Okay, I like this. But when we get there, you guys kill the god and I get everything in the vault.
We'll negotiate further. Negotiations are ongoing.
Okay, I'll commit to sticking with you guys for a short time, but I'm telling you, we better decide things quick. Otherwise, if there's a big battle that crops up, one of us might just fly away.
And 3 of us might actually try to fight.
How many? Wait a second. 1, 2.
Talking about Juniper Allen and myself. We're
Trax is
pulling
like,
all our punches just now.
I'm also really good at fighting. Just I know you guys kind of keep going off and doing your thing, which I respect. I've been on that island for a long time, but also pretty good at murder. So if you need stab, I'm your guy. Don't be fooled by that arm wrestling thing. As I told you, that was all a con.
No, I'm interested in seeing you work, Trax.
Oh, thanks.
We're talking about a heist over here, so your skills may be needed.
I'm just saying. I'm also very good at fighting. A lot of people say, sure, you're just a general for the Horde, raised in a family loyal to the God of War. How good at fighting can you be? Oh, you survived an eternal war for years. How good at fighting can you be? And the answer is really, really good, unless I fly away. So I think I'm just going to put an arbitrary time limit on this. We got to lock down what the deal is in 24 hours. Otherwise, I walk away, and you know what? I hope you have nice time with your god, because I could take over a cave somewhere. I could poop in the woods. Donkey Jr. is great at finding food.
Hey, Snarf.
Oh, man. Taking over a cave, pooping in the woods? Alan, this guy's really thought this through.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to someone who be like totally beneficial and won't run away and screw us over when we need him. That was sarcastic.
Right. 24 hours, Tingler. I'm calling you Tingler because Reginald did just the man who killed me is it's just very weird.
You can call me the man
24
who
hours,
killed you.
Tingler.
Or my real name, the Bane of Winchester. That's what people call me. General
Winchester?
Tingler. The Bane of Winchester. Yeah, that's my name.
I can't fucking hear more of this guy's backstory because it's
Okay.
it's
I
fucking
have
killing
to
me.
ask. Do you know a dwarf named Mudbutt?
I mean, I know of him because he's dead.
There it is.
All right.
There's the revelation I was dreading.
And that's when Mo kind of raises a finger and he says, "Hey guys, sorry, don't mean to interrupt. But I'd heard talk of trying to get Butthole's soul out of hell. So I asked my patron there to just go ask around. Guys, have you checked in down there lately?"
No, last time we tried to do that was the seance with you.
Yeah, okay. I was worried about that.
Can
Is there
I?
something you need to tell us?
Yeah. Continue. I might have. Just continue. Let me hear this.
So the great Cornholio, he pokes his nose back down there, and gotta tell you, I don't think your bud's there. I don't think many people are there anymore.
What?
Yeah. You know your buddy, Moonhammer?
I mean, not my buddy, but yeah, go on.
Oh, okay. Then this news will be easier to hear. I think she's dead. There's a new king down there.
Let's say the new
Oh,
king's
no.
name at the same time. That's just a fun game.
Oh.
How about that, Mo?
Oh, okay.
1, 2, 3.
Say
The one of many faces.
Look at that. Didn't make it any worse.
Oh,
Just,
would this martini help? I'm sorry, I'm bad at reading these situations.
I'll have that drink. So, Moon, Manny overthrew hell?
Well, yeah, apparently he brought quite a crew. But really, the Dragon Lord was the one who did it.
I fucking hate gods and devils, man.
Can I would like to, I don't know. I've never tried to use sending to like talk to someone who might be dead. Because I know it can travel through other planes of existence. So can I try to reach Butthole? Because I mean, if Moonhammer's dead, he'll know about it.
Sure. Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. So I kind of reach out with my mind, with unlimited range. Be like, hey, Butthole, buddy, you okay? Where are you? Is Moonhammer okay? How can we help you, bud? And then he can reply immediately if he hears me.
You get nothing back. So Kron looks down at his handiwork and he's like, I've been pulling bits out of the bag all day for this. You still need it, right? We're still going to get your little bud out and put him in here, right?
Yeah, we're gonna have to put a pin in that. And actually,
and he
there's
just
some
takes
higher
out a
quality.
pin and puts it in the body, and then looks at you expectantly.
Funny, very super funny. Levity's great right now.
Wait, what? He looks legitimately taken aback.
There are some higher quality parts on ice back that way that you might want to use to, I don't know, upgrade your work if you really want to.
He reaches into his bag of holding, comes out with a pickaxe, and he's like, it's my birthday, and goes off and starts ticking away. So moments later, out of the woods, Dexter comes, and he's kind of been stealthing up ahead and ranging as one does. And he just looks at you, Quinny, and he's like, God, you look like shit.
I feel like shit. Thank you for noticing.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, I got some good news. There's a town just up ahead. Looks pretty sleepy. There's like a temple and some other shit. Typical kind of garbage town, but I'm sure they'll have bandages and such. So come on, let's get going. I scouted it out. Doesn't seem to be any danger.
Definitely, yes. Holy shit! Everyone, transform and roll out.
So you see Kron just kind of like dump the body back into his bag in pieces, and then he's like quickly chipping away, and like Trax is like standing nearby, wanting to be helpful because he's a helpful fellow, but also just really not trucking any of this. Annan realizes this is gonna like hold the party up, so she's just like, oh god damn it! She swings the baby over her shoulder and goes and just starts cracking limbs off and throwing them in the bag. And eventually your weird little crew, Leanne kind of bringing up the rear, of course, makes its way onto a road, like it's a dirt road, but a road. By this point, you're far away from the fighting, so you've now been traveling for a significant amount of time, and you see a sign that's been. You can kind of see, like, as you approach, there seems to be a bit of a tower, like a stone tower in the distance, just above the trees. And you see a massive sign that's been hand painted that says New Winchester. And as you pass it, you roll into what's essentially think like a Wild West frontier town if it was built in the woods. So small kind of settlement. There's like a sort of a general store from the looks of things. There seems to be a bar. There's a few houses. And there's a massive stone temple that's rough hewn. Like it's not, hugely ornate, but it's there. It looks solid. Looks relatively new. There's not a lot of wear and tear. And you can actually see that some edges of it have been smoothed down, but other parts are still kind of rough, and it's clearly still under development. Alan, this temple actually strikes you with nostalgia that catches you completely unaware, because you can see the sigil of Ogma, and it's clearly a temple in her honor, and it's been a long time since you've seen anyone really worshiping knowledge in this town or in this country. So it's just a weird blast from the past to see such a temple that kind of reminds you of a weird, smaller, shittier version of where you grew up. And as you roll into town, a bird comes flying down and circles the caravan and then kind of perches on one of the rolling carts and goes, "Arr!" And with that, you hear a tremendous ruckus from the bar, and stumbling out into the street, naked but for a very tiny loincloth, holding Fringa's worth of beers in each hand, is King Mudbutt of Winchester. And he just looks to all of you and he says,
"Oh, hello, friends. Oh, you finally came after you didn't respond to my invite. I thought you wouldn't. And Alan, oh, I've been waiting so long to share this wonderful reunion with you in particular."
and he just like throws beer in the air out of both hands. And he runs up, and Reginald, he gives you a massive hug. And then he runs over to Quinny, and he picks Quinny up, and he spins you around. He gives you a hug, and he like rubs Goblin Jr.'s head. And then he turns to you, Alan, and he's like,
Hey, hold on a sec. Alan, what is even better than surprises? Me becoming your dad. I'm marrying your mom. She's right over there. I'm marrying your mom.
And he gestures back to the temple, and stepping out onto the street, Alan, you see your mom.
Oh, fuck no!
This episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Hamstra at EL Hamstring on Twitter, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Dum-Dums and Dragons artwork is by Del Borovic, who can be found at delborovic.com. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum-Dums and Dragons.
Epilogue. Grayson Typhus awoke in a vault. He remembered the stack exploding around him, remembered feeling his body disintegrate, remembered dying. But now, as promised when he'd agreed to undergo the transformation, he'd awoken next to his phylactery, safe in the secret vault of Akka, in another world. Stepping out into the warm, comfortable sitting room, he stepped in something wet and realized it was his former Emily's brains, and that simply would not do. He rummaged around the vault and returned a few minutes later with a rare diamond. Its mining had cost several hundred people their lives. Emily had been using it as a paperweight. Crushing the diamond in his fist, he crouched down and whispered the words he'd had imprinted on his mind from one of Nairfrost's most powerful clerics, and one of its last. A follower of some forgotten god called Moonhammer, one of the gods who'd been pulled into the void when that treacherous fool Riker had crossed over. He spoke words of resurrection, and slowly, over a span of days, Emily's head wove itself together, as Grayson made his preparations. On the 10th day, Emily awoke, coughing through a parched throat. Grayson could tell she was nervous to see him, but that's always how it goes when your employer comes home. He explained what had happened to him, then what had happened to her. "You died," he said simply as she finished her water, making a face at its taste. "But don't worry, we're not going to have that happen again." Her face showed confusion, then understanding. "What did you do to me?" she rasped as the concoction began to work its deadly magic. "I'm fixing you," he said as she began to convulse, the poison taking hold. "And then you and I are going to remake this primitive world and rule the living, or the dead. Either way," he smiled, "I'll need an Emily." As Emily Antebellum died for the second time, Grayson Typhus smiled. Good help was so hard to find these days. Might as well make this arrangement permanent. And with that, he began to work his dark magic, stolen and imprinted on his mind by those far wiser than he. And thus, a new lich was born. The unseen hand rises again.
Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: Christian Menicola, Long, the Half-Blind Prophet, James Cuellar, DM Rob, Christopher Little, Joshua White, Olin Anderson, Sue One, Devin Boyce, George Dolby, One True Artistry, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.